Hi everybody, it's Don and I hope you're having a fantastic day. Well, a passenger recently sent me who was on the MSC Seashore that had that generator fire. Remember, it had that generator fire on board and, didn't hear much about it after that. Just, generator fire, no big deal. Now I'm finding out there were some big deals on board, and I got some things to talk about that. And then I also got a warning out there again that anything can happen at any time when on a cruise ship, especially on a shore excursion. Just walking, for instance, to a restaurant, something terrible happened to some passengers on a cruise. So I want to make sure I catch all these things that were caught on the MSC Seashore. On the December 8th cruise, they had an electrical fire in one of the generator rooms, and it was quickly extinguished and everything, but apparently it did cause some lingering problems on the ship. And so it all started out, he said, on December 18th, and it said all elevators did not work overnight. Now, can you imagine? You're down on deck 5. And you have to get up to deck 18. And you have mobility issues. How did they do it? Well, apparently, people with restrictions, a lot of them with mobility issues and scooters, actually had to be carried by the crew members to their cabins. Yikes. That's a real inconvenience. And it went on for quite some time. It says here, on the evening of December 8th, the buffet had a visible smoke throughout and smelled burning and electrical wires, but was not closed. This person got a migraine just from the smell, despite leaving very, very quickly. Now, to be fair to the cruise line, they probably had to keep the buffet open simply for the amount of people it serves. If they closed the buffet, they just did not have enough dining space on board to get everybody through it, or the room service staff to deliver to the room. So even though there was a smell there, they probably had no choice but to keep the buffet open. Buffets on cruise ships feed a ton of people, and it's quickly and it's convenient, etc. A lot of people rely on it. So I'm not going to blame the cruise line there. That's probably more out of necessity than actually them wanting to do that. Next, they also said the internet was down for about 48 hours, which was a real inconvenience for a lot of people, especially, for instance, the person who mailed me. They said they were waiting for some important information to come in. They couldn't get it on the internet. They couldn't even get it on WhatsApp because the internet's down. They couldn't do Skype. They couldn't do anything to be able to get this contact information that they needed to get done. 48 hours, none, which is probably why we didn't hear a lot of this on social media, because nobody could share it to everybody while it was actually happening because they couldn't get on the internet to do so. On December 9th, they finally got one elevator fixed for the entire cruise ship. It holds 5,000 people, folks. One elevator working, and the other elevators did start working finally by late evening that night. Slowly, gradually, they came on service one at a time. So a great inconvenience for passengers on board, especially if you had mobility issues. You might have been basically stuck in your cabin for a day, 2 days without any chance to get out. And imagine just having to be carried up to your stateroom. And I know many people that couldn't have had done that. I know many, many people that would be plus-size cruisers. For instance, say you're in the 350, 400 pound range in a scooter, and they have to carry you up 7 flights. I don't think they're doing it. I don't know how they would do it. So I'm not sure that this was even a feasible option or a possibility. They also said after the generator problem, there was an issue with the HVAC system where some areas of the ship were freezing cold and some areas of the ship were boiling hot. Some kind of HVAC issue. And then they also said there was the lingering smell of smoke on the cruise ship for about 4 or 5 days in various areas of the ship. So yes, not a very convenient or fun cruise for anybody, especially those who unfortunately had mobility issues or a hard time getting around, or even susceptible to the smell of smoke with allergies or anything like that. Very, congestion would have been very, very tough. Now, remember, MSC Cruise Lines did give everybody, offered them a 20% future cruise credit based, on their fare of their cruise. Many of them think that this, despite the inconvenience and everything that happened on board, that really wasn't very much. Now remember, the cruise lines, again, don't have to give everything. This was a mechanical failure. This was a breakdown. Something happened. They are not liable to give anybody anything. So 20% is something. But a lot of people thought the inconvenience and the smell, etc., and the no elevators, maybe, just wasn't quite enough for the inconvenience that everybody had. So apparently, a lot more went on than we were able to get out in the news right away because no one could post about it. Next, I do have another story about anything can happen at any time, but before I get there, let me just invite you to hit that subscribe button if you haven't done so already. If you want to keep up to date with everything going on in cruising, from the behind-the-scenes footage and action of what's going on when people are drunk and trying to break down doors, to the best cruise excursions to take, the not-so-great cruise excursions to take, what ships are good, what ships are bad, the good conveniences, and maybe save you just a little bit of money and a little bit of frustration on your next cruise. That's what we hope to do here, keep you best informed as we can, maybe entertain you as well along the way, and maybe make you chuckle just once in a while. And again, I really do appreciate it. All right, let's talk about something that I always hype on here. I always strive everybody out here. Never, ever, ever go on a vacation anywhere without travel insurance, especially evacuation insurance and medical insurance. I don't care if you lose the price of your cruise because you had to cancel 2 days before. That's a choice you're making. But if you get hit or trip down the stairs or something, get sick on a cruise and end up going into a hospital or being medevaced, it can run hundreds of thousands of dollars. So it really doesn't pay not to have insurance. Well, we have another story of a couple that was on a cruise in Australia, and they were in Cairns. They were on a Princess cruise, and they were just walking to dinner on shore, and they got hit by a car. The driver actually ran over one person's foot, and the other person had a severe knee injury. Now, they were looked after immediately, and then they were sent home. They had to fly back through Sydney and then fly back to Dallas where they lived, but luckily it looks like they're going to be fine and everything is okay. But it just goes, they're just walking to dinner, folks. They're just walking to have dinner and they get hit by a car. Anything can happen at any time. You can go ziplining and something can happen to the zip line. You can go ATVing and you blow a tire and your ATV flips. Anything can happen at any time. You never know. You could be on the beach and all of a sudden get a cramp and start drowning and have to be resuscitated and rushed to hospital. You never, ever, ever know what can possibly happen. A stray dog can bite you and you can get rabies. So many possibilities. Is it really worth not taking that, taking that chance and not getting travel insurance and possibly losing thousands upon thousands upon thousands of dollars for the cost of a couple $100, $400 insurance for your entire trip? I really have to stress that over and over again. Always try and have travel insurance. Not necessarily cancel for any reason insurance, but that medical is a must. Well, let me know in the comments down below. How would you like to be on a cruise ship with no elevators for 40 hours? That doesn't sound fun. And how about if you're on the top deck and would you stay on the top deck after that? Or would you make your way up and down those stairs to get into the entertainment and all that? I don't know. I think a lot of people would have a hard time doing that, especially with the mobility issues in an older generation. Well, I hope you appreciate this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. Want to see more tips, more tricks, more travel vlogs from around the world? Hit that subscribe button. Until next time, have yourself a safe and a great vacation.